So why do Christians care about this, and why do the ones that believe in it make it their entire personality and won't shut up about it?
Okay, so this is all right. This one for me is one of the things I've wrestled with because even if all right, so like for me, whether we have a flat earth or we don't have a flat earth has no bearing on my faith.
Right. Okay.
And so for me, it has been difficult to understand why individuals have made such a big deal about this. Okay? Because for me, it doesn't shake my faith one way or the other, right? Like if our earth's flat, if our earth is a sphere, if it's round, like I'm good either way. Like I don't get caught up in any of that. And so I think for some, what it goes back to is the idea that we have been really living in for some, I'm going to approach this from two different angles, okay?
Okay.
There's one angle for some flat earth Christians that will say that, or Christians who believe they're flat or believe in a flat earth, that they believe this is one of the many layered conspiracies that we have been sold over time, and that actually shows how corrupt the world is. All right.
Okay.
So that there's a I think you maybe used the phrase earlier, maybe it's just when you and I were talking, but like a deep state that has always been, that's outside of, that's running, controlling the whole world. And this is part of that propaganda.
You don't believe that?
I believe. Here's the crazy thing.
Okay.
There is one that is trying to mess with the whole world. And his name is Satan.
Oh.
And I think he's pulling a lot of strings.
That's a conspiracy theory.
Yeah. All right. So, but back to flat Earth.
Okay.
Is that, and so part of it, I think, is the fact that this is, if we can prove that we're on a flat Earth, not a sphere, that it's actually proving one of the things that we've always been taught to be false, and therefore it opens up the door for what other things that we've been taught that are false.
Okay.
And there's a sense of this kind of leads to that greater, larger sense of, man, there really is a big conspiracy going on here, and none of that is true.
Okay.
And we're as Christians, we want to be about the truth. None of that's true. And so I think that's part of it for some. It's kind of entering into that conspiracy world that says, yeah, we're exposing these conspiracies that we have been told, and and then for them, and then for just some others, it's more about the sense of I'm returning back to a more, a true biblical faith. This is what the Bible says. I'm believing the Bible. I'm not believing, your junk science. And because there are a lot of Christians who absolutely condemn science as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
And so you've got some
We've
of them,
talked about this.
Right, that they condemn science as a whole. And this is just one more of those things to go, see, we don't need to hold to science, to scientific theories, to, scientific models, none of those things. They don't hold to us. We just need our Bible, and that's enough. Okay. And so they pit themselves as, faith versus, science. And
okay.
And so and the
or
sense,
scientific propaganda,
right,
from the deep state,
right, and that they feel like they've got a truer, deeper sense of their faith, right?
Okay,
they're holding a more true idea of what faith is, and so I think that is a big deal for some. That it really is about. I feel like I'm returning more to a true faith in this, and this is just me feeling like I'm actually taking the Bible for what it says and returning back to the simplicity of the scriptures, and rejecting science, maybe I should even use the word scientific myths, because I think that's probably what they would say.
Pseudoscience.
Yes, pseudoscience, and reject those things. And so that, or they will say, well, we now have divine knowledge or revelation, and actually have a truer science, right? Like that we're going to follow a science that's different than mainstream science. It's the mainstream science that is corrupt. We don't need to follow mainstream science. And so we have enough information now because of what the regular person can gain from social media and from the internet. We can do our own research, and we can find our own information, and we can reject what has been just force-fed us through mainstream media and through educational systems.
So is hell a rectangle with like a firewall instead of an ice wall?
I do not know.
Is heaven a rectangle with a cotton candy wall?
Yeah, I don't know how flat earthers would describe heaven or hell. So I don't want to.
So when we see telescope stuff, we believe everything else is round except us because we're special and a pizza.
And a pizza. Yeah. And there's so many things like with even the idea of telescopes, like you've got some individuals that will even say the lenses within, and this is getting like deep down the rabbit hole of conspiracy theories, that the telescope lenses themselves are producing false information for us, so that even when we look through a telescope, it's part of the conspiracy as well.
Deep state
technology.
Glass.
Yes.
Yeah. And if you notice, if you take the lens out, it's a flat circle.
Dun, dun, dun. And so, yeah.
How are the lenses round, but the pictures are square?
Yeah, Mr. Videographer.
Yeah.
How does that work? Ask you.
I don't know.
You're like, I just use these things.
Just put the thing in the thing and do the thing.
Right. That's what we always say for everything.
It's because your TV's in a circle.
Yeah. Nope.
Doesn't make sense.
Doesn't make any sense. All right. So
anyway.
Yeah. And so, but I think also it's the idea that just from what even we're able to look at in a telescope, that we're just not able to actually see truly what we're kind of looking at. You know, that our eyes are kind of deceiving us.
So the lenses have Wi-Fi in them connected to the deep state.
Some do believe
like what?
Yeah, some not necessarily that there's Wi-Fi, so that there are individuals that do. And I'm not saying this is the majority by any means, but there are some that do believe that even our telescopes and lenses have been formed in such a way that creates an illusion.
All right.
So, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Not saying that's everybody by any means.
So flat Earth Christians though.
Absolutely.
Are they insane? Do they have normal lives?
Yeah. I mean, a lot of them have pretty normal lives.
Okay.
So, and they really love Jesus. And the thing that you mentioned earlier, like the thing that I don't quite understand is like why this has become such an important part, right?
Yeah.
Like, because you could hold to this, okay? And it's not like you're a heretic for holding to either form, right? Like whether you hold it flat or whether you hold it to be a sphere, like no one's throwing anybody out of a church for this. And so,
are you sure?
God, I hope not. Oh man,
you don't want to throw them out because they might fall off.
Our church was a little too close to the ice wall.
Yeah, right.
So, my bad. I just didn't. I have a hard time understanding like why we're making this such a big part of our faith, right? Like this is not one of the bigger things to like get caught up with. All right. That's the part for me that I really don't get. I'm all for like having intellectual conversations, and I'm all for like even philosophy and like, and I know you hate it, but like the idea of just like, hey, what is, just we can talk and we can think and, discuss. But I don't quite understand like the strong pull for it. Even, and I've heard reasons. They just don't, some of the things I've just said before, like, but they don't move me enough to want to care enough about it, to be honest. So,
you know why I don't like philosophy?
Why is that?
Because Jesus answered every question. And so it's just like boring. That's why I don't like it.
Good answer, my friend.
I mean,
no,
for real. Like there's something that you can look to in the Bible that answers all the questions.
That's true.
And
so you're not wrong.
It's just boring to me.
Yeah.
It's just people talking, which is why I think that I love Dante. Because that first level of hell was the philosophers philosophizing for eternity. And before I read Dante, I was like, oh, that is exactly what all these people keep doing. And I'm like, okay, well, you can talk about that forever. I'm going to go to work.
Yeah, because I think at the end of the day, this is not our topic, but in a lot of philosophy, but I think it does tie into like conspiracy theory chasing and that kind of stuff. A lot of it is like speculation, like we're working on the basis of speculation.
Right.
And I understand that there are flat earthers that would say, well, no, there's a scriptural basis, there's a scientific basis, there's a historical basis. And I understand those things. But largely, if we're being honest, it's still speculation.
Right.
So,
and I think I'm just like, people have been philosophizing for how long now?
Right.
If we haven't figured this stuff out at this point, then why am I still paying attention?
Right.
I mean, for real.
No, right. Yeah.
Like, someone had to have figured this out already.
Yeah.
And I think I know who did it.
Yeah.
Who figured it out.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm with you, man. I'm with you. It's good stuff.
It's just boring.
Yeah.
Anyway, flat earth is real. Next question.
Clip it.